everybody. Before we get started, let's take a look at our agenda for today. We're going to start by kind of examining some of the pros and cons of having a smoke-free versus a smoking community. We'll take a look at the laws that govern smoking and fair housing. We'll take a look at the hot topic of marijuana and the conflicting laws. We'll go over some rules to consider if you're establishing a smoke-free community. We'll end with some cutting-edge issues, and then we'll have time for questions and answers. So let's go ahead and get started. In times of high vacancy, landlords may be concerned that smoking restrictions could limit the pool of prospective residents. It's a wise business decision to try and gather some actual demographic statistics on the percentage of smokers in the surrounding area so that you can make a fact-based business decision on the chance of an overall loss of business from establishing smoking restrictions. If you have a large property, it might make sense to have some buildings where smoking is allowed and some that are smoke-free. One of the disadvantages to allowing any open flame on a rental property is that the landlord might be accused of being partially responsible for personal injury or property damages as a result of fire or smoke. We suggest that landlords consider requiring residents to have renter's insurance to cover losses to their personal property because it's not covered by the landlord's policy, and also personal injury coverage to augment the landlord's insurance. Allowing smoking in common areas can lead to lawsuits for someone burning another with a lighted cigarette or someone stepping on a cigarette which has not been completely extinguished. Lower maintenance costs or turnover costs are another consideration. There are standard issues to deal with when cleaning up a smoking unit, like scrubbing the walls with TSP and using a primer like Kills before being able to repaint. You may also need to repair or replace countertops and carpet or drapes because of burn marks. Insurance companies will sometimes provide discounted rates for rental properties where smoking is not allowed. And while residents will always use gas stove or heaters that you've provided, you may want to consider restrictions on other open flames, such as banning the use of candles. There are lots of electronic candles being marketed these days. You might even want to consider banning incense. But of course, if a resident claims that there's a religious need to use incense, then you want to get legal advice about the potential fair housing implications. We talked about the potential liability associated with allowing smoking. There's obviously less potential liability for damage to units or persons caused by smoking when a landlord has a written restriction against smoking and when the landlord enforces the restriction. There are free links to registries that advertise vacancies in smoke-free properties so that prospective residents who are interested in a smoke-free environment can easily find you.